And we are back. NFL predictions for the first time this regular season. We obviously did preseason, but we're here. Just to quickly recap the preseason, in case you care, I ended up going 4-12 in my last week. Not my greatest showing, which unfortunately put me to 22, 24, and 3. Just barely went below 500, all because of that horrible week. With the games getting right were Seahawks, Packers, Broncos, Saints, Steelers, Panthers, and Colts, Bengals. Moving on to this week, starting out Thursday Night Football. That's tomorrow as I'm recording this. All games in Eastern Standard Time. We have the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Cowboys had a very lackluster preseason, in my opinion. Not to mention they traded away a lot of guys, mainly Micah Parsons. I know that was really the only guy they traded away, but that's a big guy. And then to, fix their wound, they immediately re-signed DaRon Bland. The Eagles, on the other hand, haven't really regressed too much. They pretty much, every guy they lost, they managed to fill up pretty nice, actually. So, because of that, it's, a very strong reigning Super Bowl champ Eagles versus a very weak-looking Cowboys team. In Philadelphia, I'm going to take the Eagles, and I'm going to take them as my lock of the week. That's right, it's returning this season. If you don't know, every week I pick one team who I think is going to win the game. The only catch is I can't pick the same team twice. So the Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champs, already off the board 1 week into the season. Chiefs, Chargers. So the Chiefs, reigning AFC champs. They kind of in the same boat as the Eagles. They didn't really regress too much, besides their O-line took a pretty decent hit. However, their O-line was questionably bad towards the latter half of the season last year. While the Chargers, in my opinion, they really only improved signing guys like Najee Harris, drafting Trey Harris in the draft. It's looking good for them. I think the Chargers are actually going to win this game. I know it's crazy to say, but I'm going to take the Chargers. Moving on to our Sunday 1 o'clock games, we got the Dolphins and the Colts. The Dolphins actually had a surprisingly well preseason. I wasn't expecting them to do very much because their practices weren't looking too great. Meanwhile, the Colts kind of were hit and miss. Depending on the week, they did really good or really bad. I'm actually inclined to take the Colts here strictly because I like the Colts roster more. I think if Daniel Jones is even able to just play mediocre, that could be enough to win them this game. I think this will be a close, low-scoring game with both teams really struggling to move on offense. Not because of the defenses, just because the offenses suck. So, give me the Colts. Steelers, Jets. The battle of the quarterbacks playing your old teams. Aaron Rodgers going against the Jets. Speaking of the Steelers, they're kind of turning into that retirement home, getting a few guys on the older side. A lot of new faces for the Steelers, especially on that offense. Obviously, their defense has been really good, the past few years. That's what they're known for. Looks like they're trying to finally address the offense, and hopefully that will be enough to, they're arguably contenders. Meanwhile, the Jets, well, this is kind of going to be a one-year experiment. You got Justin Fields, who has been given a few shots. He's shown so many flashes, but he's never been able to turn those flashes into consistent results. And you also have Aaron Glenn, who is a first-time head coach. I'm going to take the Steelers here just strictly because they have the experience. That is the only reason. If we're talking about who I think could actually win, I think this is a coin flip. I really like both rosters against each other. I think this will be a good game. Panthers, Jaguars. Panthers, I don't really see being that competitive this first game of the season. That's kind of how they've always been under, their head coaches, quarterbacks, ever since Cam Newton really left. But they could surprise some people. I definitely, like I said, I've liked their roster a lot. I think they could sneak into the playoffs. I just think they're going to have a slightly slow start here against the Jaguars. I think I'm going to have the Jaguars winning. Strictly because look at the Jaguars. They have not only improved their roster significantly, they have done it while getting young guys. Second overall pick, you draft Travis Hunter, arguably the most entertaining college football player we've ever seen. That is a big step up. You sign Liam Cohen as your head coach. He was given a contract to be the highest paid coordinator by the Buccaneers before choosing to take the Jaguars job. I mean, this could be a really good year for them. I'm going to have them winning this one. And it's not really because I see them being good. I just don't see the Panthers doing very well this week. So give me the Jaguars. Cardinals, Saints. Cardinals, they are another team who have been they have been very quietly improving their team. No big names, but definitely guys who are bolstering that roster, making it look better. Meanwhile, the Saints, well, this is definitely going to be a what do we have in our quarterback room type of year. I don't really see them being competitive at all this game, let alone this season. I'm going to take the Cardinals. Giants, Commanders, kind of the same thing with the Giants as the Saints. We don't know what their quarterback room is going to look like. We know they have a young, talented roster with Dexter Lawrence, Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy. But we don't know how that quarterback room is going to adapt. We don't know if Russell Wilson's going to have his Seattle form. We don't know if Jackson Dart's going to take over and have, some rookie success. Meanwhile, the Commanders, they made the NFC Championship last year. It's very hard to go against them. Even with this being a division game, it could honestly go either way. That's how division games work. I'm going to take the Commanders. They're the safe pick. They managed to keep on improving. They got Terry McLaurin locked up with that extension finally. Give me the Commanders. Buccaneers, Falcons. The Buccaneers, another team who has just been, they've kind of coasted with their roster. I believe that they are comfortable with their roster, and I do respect that. They did go ahead and get Emeka Egbuka in the draft, who I think will be a very impactful guy, especially with the injury history Chris Godwin has had. Meanwhile, the Falcons are going to be in this kind of a different situation. They're a team who has a good roster, right? You look at their receiver, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, really good. Running back room, Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson. Come on. But Michael Penix, we don't know what he's going to bring to the table. He didn't, in my opinion, didn't show all the greatest flashes last year. They're obviously banking on this guy being quarterback one. I'm going to take the Buccaneers winning because I just don't think Michael Penix is going to have a great start to the season. I think he's going to be someone who only gets better as the season goes on. Moving on, we got the Bengals-Browns, Battle of Ohio. The Bengals really trying to improve their team, going all out in the draft on defense, signing guys on offense like Dalton Risner. While the Browns, well, they could be good. Obviously, we know how Joe Flacco did the last time he played with the Browns. They ended up making the playoffs. But will history repeat itself? I think the Browns roster is worse. I think it's just been kind of going downhill. Now, granted, they have managed to retain the stars, the superstars. So that's good. I just think there are so many holes in that Browns team that the Bengals are going to win this one, even if they don't play as well as they normally do in week one. Moving on to the final 1 o'clock game, we got Raiders-Patriots. The Raiders, not a great preseason in my opinion. I was really expecting big things out of Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, but didn't quite see that. Patriots, on the other hand, had actually a really good preseason. I'm going to go with the Raiders here strictly because the Patriots seem to be in a very interesting spot. They have released a lot of their veteran, proven guys and, also talked about trading some. Kyle Duggar being one of those big trade guys. You released Jabril Peppers. You released Kendrick Bourne. Guys who I think are bona fide starters in the league. I don't know what the Patriots are doing. I'm going to go with the Raiders because of that. I just don't know what this Patriots team is going to look like now, and they could be good. I really thought they were going to be one of those teams who are competing for a playoff spot this year, but after these moves, we're going to have to wait and see now. Maybe they know something I don't. Moving on to our 4 o'clock games, we got the 49ers-Seahawks for Division Week 1 game. 49ers, we know how the 49ers are. They're always good or they're always injured. There's never an in-between. It's Week 1, so they're about as healthy as they can be at the moment. They are missing a few guys already, which is concerning, but they're healthy enough. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, very interesting. They have Sam Darnold as a quarterback. I don't know how I feel about that because personally, not a big Sam Darnold guy. Obviously, he did well in Minnesota, but was that a system thing? I'm leaning towards yes. They lose DK Metcalf. They lose Tyler Lockett. They're expecting Jackson Smith-Njigba to take that step up. They're expecting their second-year tight end to take that step up because they released Noah Fant. I'm going to go with the 49ers. While, yes, this could work out for the Seahawks, I think it's a lot of what-ifs, and we're going to have to, let the season go on before I feel like it's going to really start to pan out. Titans and Broncos, I'm just going to really be super fast. The Titans, horrible roster. As much as I like Cam Ward, he's not going to be, Tom Brady immediately. Broncos, they have a bona fide offense, a bona fide defense. They're Super Bowl contenders in my eyes. I'm taking the Broncos 10 times out of 10 this game. The only way I don't is if, some freak injuries happen. Or, like I said, Cam Ward somehow does become Tom Brady-esque, Patrick Mahomes-esque, one of the great quarterbacks of all time in his first ever game. Lions-Packers. This is a very interesting one because during this whole time, I was like, this is a really good game. Both these teams always seem to be competitive against each other. Normally, it goes, 1-1. I'm going to take the Packers here, strictly because of this Micah Parsons trade. I actually was leaning towards the Lions before this, but with it being in Lambeau, with you having now an arguably top 5 defensive player in the league, that's honestly might not even doing him justice. Even with the holes this team has, I'm taking the Packers. Another thing, the Lions, they lost both their coordinators. Yes, they still have that great, amazing roster last year that ended up getting them 15-2 in the 1 seed. But I think they're going to be off to a slow start because they're going to have to adjust from, these top-tier coordinators who both landed head coaching jobs to, well, now we have 2 guys who have to prove themselves. Texans-Rams. This is a big one. Matthew Stafford is on track to play week 1, which is good. But the Texans, I don't know what their situation is. Joe Mixon doesn't look like he's going to play immediately. As much as I like Nick Chubb, that injury, I don't know how he's going to come back from it. I don't know how good their running game is going to be. And then not to mention their receiver room. I don't believe Tank Dell will be playing. And as much as they got these 2 Iowa State receivers who they drafted 2nd and 3rd round, they're still rookies. We don't know how well they're going to play. So I'm going to take the Rams because we know how good that roster is. They were so close to defeating the Eagles in the playoffs last year, and they really didn't do much to get worse. They actually, in my opinion, improved, getting Devontae Adams. I'm giving the Rams. Next, we have Ravens-Bills, Sunday Night Football. The Ravens and the Bills met in the divisional round last year where the Bills ended up winning, where they then lost the week after. This is going to be a great game. These are 2 guys who have been consistently up for MVP votes in Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. 2 teams who have consistently been high expectations but ultimately falter in the playoffs. This is going to be a huge one because we know both these teams. If they stay healthy, they are going to be playoff teams. There's no denying it. So this is probably going to decide seeding, and it's only week 1. I'm going to take the Ravens. I think this will be a very high-scoring game. I know, both teams thrive on their defense. That's kind of the Ravens' philosophy is their run game and defense, while the Bills, they've really only improved their defense. I think this will be one where both quarterbacks have a shootout. I think the Ravens will end up taking the win just barely. Vikings-Bears, Monday Night Football. The Vikings, very unproven. We know J.J. McCarthy, he has a lot of hype around him. Who wouldn't with the team he has? But will he be able to live up to the hype? Meanwhile, the Bears, they get a new head coach. They had all these expectations last year. They're, the free agency winners every year, the offseason champs. Will they finally break free with Ben Johnson and show, hey, we have all these star-studded guys. It's going to show. I think it will this week. I'm going to take the Bears. I don't think it's going to be a very good game, though. I think it's going to be a low-scoring one. I think both sides are going to struggle to move the ball. Both teams, obviously, great defenses. But the Bears, I think, will ultimately get the win just barely, but in a not very entertaining game. To quickly recap my games, the teams I have winning are the Eagles, Chargers, Colts, Steelers, Jaguars, Cardinals, Commanders, Buccaneers, Bengals, Raiders, 49ers, Broncos, Packers, Rams, Ravens, Bills, with the Eagles being my lock of the week. If I did not say your team, it means they are losing. Sorry. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.